Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Celtics, candid reason that Miami Heat scare Paul Pierce more than anyone. The Celtics would probably like to avoid Miami if possible. On Saturday evening, Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics picked up their 8th straight road win, and 8th straight win overall, with a road domination of the New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden. The win extended Boston's enormous lead over the Cleveland Cavaliers for first place in the Eastern Conference, and Tatum showed great discipline in limiting his shot attempts when it was clear his teammates had it going. While Boston certainly looks like the favorite to represent the East in the NBA Finals, former Celtics legend Paul Pierce recently broke down why he still fears one team more than anyone else. "You only got one legit team, Miami," said Pierce, per DraftKings Network, via Emo Jimmy on X, the social media platform formerly referred to as Twitter. "Even though they are where they at, that's the only team I be like, dang, I really am scared of." The Miami Heat were the clear underdogs against Boston last year in their matchup in the Eastern Conference Finals, but it mattered not, as Jimmy Butler led Miami to a 3-0 lead before hanging on for dear life and knocking out the Celtics for good in Game 7. Of course, most pundits would tell you that Boston's roster now is much improved over the still impressive cast of characters the team boasted last year. Still, there is such a thing as a mental block when it comes to the NBA playoffs, and it's unclear at this point whether the Celtics have rid themselves of the fear of Butler that could clearly be seen throughout the first 3 games last year. Heat's Jimmy Butler likens NBA suspension to jail sentence. Miami Heat star Jimmy Butler, who was one of 5 players suspended for a fight that broke out during a game against the New Orleans Pelicans, took to Instagram where he joked that the ban was akin to a jail sentence. The NBA announced Sunday that Butler, fellow Heat forward Nikola Jovic and Pelicans forward Najee Marshall were suspended for 1 game without pay for instigating and engaging in the on-court altercation Friday in New Orleans. Heat center Thomas Bryant and Pelicans guard Jose Alvarado were given 3-game suspensions. Butler responded to the news of the ban a few hours after it was issued. "It was all Nikola Jovic's fault," he wrote for the caption on an Instagram post, which featured the teammates posing on an altered movie poster for the Bad Boys franchise. Butler tagged the location of the post as the Miami-Dade County Jail. He also posted screenshots of music he was listening to on his Instagram story, including Akon's Locked Up and Kanye West's Jail. Butler, 34, is averaging a team-high 21.4 points, 5.6 rebounds, and 4.6 assists per game this season. The 6-time All-Star and 5-time All-Defensive Team selection appeared in 38 games so far this season. The Heat, 31-25, will play without the star forward when they battle the Sacramento Kings, 33-23, at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Monday in Sacramento. "I want to go out there and compete with my guys, as does Nico, as does TB," Butler told reporters Sunday, when asked about his teammate beating the Kings. "I think we have enough to get it done. It might be a little bit more difficult, but I know that these guys can do it." Heat coach Eric Spoelstra said Sunday that he didn't think the NBA was correct in its decision to ban Butler for 1 game. "It felt like Jimmy shouldn't have gotten a game on that," Spoelstra said. "It was really just kind of tangling and a little pushing. I don't think that deserves another game, because he ended up missing the 4th quarter. But it is what it is." Joel Embiid could return from injury in March and become a free agent. The Philadelphia 76ers are considering signing Joel Embiid as a free agent following his knee injury, which has kept him sidelined since January 30. In fact, the team is working with a deadline of the end of March for the pivot to return. The star was leading the race for the MVP until he suffered the injury, which took him out of any chance of competing for a 2nd consecutive award. The information comes from journalist Keith Pompey, from the Philadelphia Inquirer portal. According to him, the franchise continues to study the best way to do this. What I know is that Philadelphia wants to remain a team among the favorites. Even while they are not counting on the player, they want to be able to preserve their direct playoff position until the end of the regular season. Right now, they will need to do so without Embiid on the court. This is what the franchise foresees as the ideal scenario, he stated. His meniscus surgery went well and, now, this is the period that they need to wait and try to stay in the top 6 of the Eastern Conference, avoiding a play-in, while continuing to win and gain the reinforcement of their most important player. Dominant. These are the things that the 76ers envision amid Joel Embiid's injury. They finally feel like they can do it, Pompey explained. The journalist does not cite a specific date for the return. But he mentions that this will be essential for him to regain some rhythm for the postseason. A return after March would give Embiid less time and minutes to recondition himself. The 76ers will play 7 games in April. Therefore, ensuring that the team can use these games to get the MVP back into rhythm, while also having a few games with him at the end of March, is the perfect scenario. If the Sixers manage to maintain their position amid all this, they will once again be a very dangerous team this season, concluded Pompey. The information comes shortly after one of the 76ers' good victories after the center's injury. This Friday, 23, the team beat the Cleveland Cavaliers, current runner-up in the conference, in a game played in Philadelphia. The retrospect without the star, however, is not so good. There are just 4 wins in 10 games since the fateful duel with the Golden State Warriors. In the campaign in general, the impact of the number 21 is felt. With him, the team won 26 of 34 matches. On the other hand, without him, there are 7 wins in 22 games. Those who already have an eye on Joel Embiid is the Miami Heat, who have already declared the league's interest in the player. If he become a free agent, the Miami Heat will certainly try to exchange him. And you, fan, what do you think of the situation about Joel Embiid? Leave your opinion in the comments.